Navigating a career path is never easy. It is hard enough knowing what it is you want to do, let alone knowing how you're going to get there. It may be that one job with one continuous career path is just not for you. Instead, you may want to experience a variety of different roles, each bringing fulfillment and reward. There are many different jobs and roles out there connected to this sport for you to discover. As well as being the second largest spectator sport in the UK, second only to football, British horse racing is a very big industry with a huge variety of jobs and roles, providing jobs for around 85,000 people. Its reach is nationwide with 59 racecourses spread around the country. It truly has something for everyone. To ensure and maintain standards, each racecourse is licensed by the British Horseracing Authority, as are each and every one of the 650 licensed training operations. Many of these are based in hubs known as training centres: Newmarket, Lambourne in Berkshire, and the Yorkshire-based hubs of Malton and Midland. There are hundreds of training operations spread all over the country, as too are there breeding and stud farms with over 4,500 thoroughbred breeders in Britain alone. A sport and industry on this scale, one that caters for public attendances of around 5 million a year, is underpinned and supported by a varied and skilled workforce. Not only are there opportunities to work alongside these beautiful animals and extraordinary athletes, there are a multitude of jobs available away from the training yards and the stud farms. For example, the sport generates and receives huge exposure in the media. Broadcast daily on 2 dedicated television channels, as well as regularly on ITV. It has its own daily newspaper in the Racing Post and has embraced the world of digital and social media content. And the racecourses all require a range of skills from their employees, from expert in turf husbandry to event management and hospitality, and from financing to communications and marketing. Any industry is only as good as the people it recruits, so you truly are the future of our sport. It doesn't matter if you were brought up around horses or you have no experience at all. As long as you have an empathy for animals and a desire to work with racehorses, that is all you'll need to get started. There are a wide range of roles in the sport that require you to spend a lot of time with the racehorses, and each of those comes with the opportunity and the potential for that job to develop into a long, successful and, most importantly, fulfilling career. From starting as a racing groom, you can develop your skills and experience to explore into other roles, such as travelling the country as a travelling groom, or taking up a senior position on a yard like an assistant trainer, or following the footsteps of others who've worked their way right to the top of being their own boss as a licensed racehorse trainer.
My name's Connor Fox and I work for Amy Murphy Racing as her pupil assistant. I did a 6-week foundation course at the British Racing School, perfect for people like me because I've never touched a horse, and then got in contact with Amy Murphy. She kindly took me under her wing. It's nice to know that you've got a boss that wants the best out of you, you know. Great opportunity for me to get in there, you know, start off, and it was small enough for me to learn, and it was exciting because we had big horses at the time and lots of progression. Horses are unbelievable, you know, they've all got their individual quirks, their own little personalities, you know. If you've got that love for the horse, then you'll go far in life. Yeah, I mean, in racing, the world's your oyster, really.
There is no feeling quite like that of riding a thoroughbred at speed, and if riding is what you would like to do, you can train to be a valued work rider, and from there, possibly progress through to being a fully fledged jockey.
So my name's Nita Robertson and I work here at Rebecca Menzies Racing. I love my job because I'm with horses every day and the people as well. I'm always coming down here and I've always got a smile on my face. Everyone's a really good laugh. Yeah. I wake up in the morning and I don't actually feel like I'm at work. It doesn't really feel like a job. You're just getting to ride horses every day, so it's good.
There are a number of education centres offering government recognised apprenticeships and diplomas within horse racing. You can find out more at the British Racing School, National Horse Racing College and with Haddon Training. But you don't have to have ridden to look after a racehorse. There are plenty of jobs where you can live and breathe racehorses without actually riding them. Whether it be as a yard staff working for a trainer or perhaps working on a stud farm in the role known as a stud hand.
I'm Lottie Newman. I am a stud hand at Tween Hills Farm and Stud. Started with riding horses at a riding school, which really opened my eye to there's such a big different world into horses. Saw this advertised and thought stud life was really cool, and since I've been here I've really enjoyed it. It's something that I really enjoy every day. I look forward to coming to work. Whatever your goals are, definitely go for it and work towards them. Just go for it.
My name's Ivo Thomas and I'm the assistant manager at Tween Hills Farm and Stud. From 18 I left school and just went and worked in racing yards. So I tried to be a jockey and then that didn't work out, and there were so many other aspects in the industry, so I ended up coming into the stud world. What I love most about my job is being around the horses. Spending half an hour with them can always put a smile on your face no matter what's going on the outside world. And in the summertime we've got yearlings in for prep, so that's always a fun time teaching yearlings some manners and letting them develop into young horses. There's so many different aspects to the industry. You can just work your way around it until you find something that's perfect for you, because there's so many different roles you can do.
Further training and education for stud work is available at the National Stud. You don't need to be working in a yard or on a stud farm to be part of the racing industry. There are plenty of opportunities to work in racing while based at a racecourse. Whether your skills are best suited to office work or the great outdoors, there will be something to suit you on track. Racecourse-based jobs cover a variety of sectors, including events, marketing, hospitality and operations. Horse racing offers a great mix between daily desk work and being out and about on race days.
My name is Sophie Abel and I'm General Manager at Newmarket Racecourses, and I've been in this role for 5 years. For me, what I love about the general manager role is it's so varied. No 2 days are the same. You can be dealing with your team, you can be dealing from the commercial side, the finance side, race planning. It is so mixed and varied. I love that in racing we can get so close to our sport, to the horses, to the jockeys. You know, everything is in touching distance, and it is such a phenomenal sport with some really phenomenal people. Have a look at all the options. There are so many roles in racing that you wouldn't even think of, you know, not just on a race course, not just at yards, but in breeding, in finance, in veterinary. There's such a variety.
Every trainer and jockey will tell you there are few more important aspects to the outcome of a horse race than the racing surface. It is absolutely vital. The responsibility for preparing the track falls to the clerk of the course. Turf management is a real skill, with dedicated courses and apprenticeships enabling team members to graduate to team leaders or potentially a clerk of the course.
So I'm the clerk of the course and I manage the racetrack, and that's from the ground to the race planning to the health and safety of the horses and the jockeys, and it's just a great team to be in. I wanted to work in human resources and I didn't realise how much and how many jobs there were in racing that didn't involve riding horses. The best part of my job is when we've all worked really hard as a team and done our absolute best to prepare and produce a fantastic race day, and we can then watch the horses through the seasons around the country.
The crowds that come to racecourses need to have an all-round positive experience. Attracting and managing the crowds requires a range of skill sets. If a career in sales, events, hospitality or even customer service is what you're interested in, then there's definitely a role for you in racing.
I'm Chloe Freds. I am the sales service manager for the East region at the Jockey Club. I love that no one day is the same. I think it's so amazing, and we are so lucky to be able to deliver the events that we do. You know, there are points where we are quite literally watching and making history happen, which is amazing. It's amazing to watch the customer go away so happy. You know, it's the stuff that makes you get out of bed.
And racing being a sport, it cannot be run without its rules and referees. The British Horse Racing Authority, together with each racecourse, employ a range of race day officials to ensure that all of the sport's rules and regulations are followed. For example, no race day can take place if there isn't a clerk of the scales that weighs in the jockeys and their saddles, or if there isn't a starter and his team to get the runners in each race safely and fairly away. We also need a judge in place to review those photo finishes and place every horse in the correct order.
Yeah, my name's David Hicks. I'm a BHA judge. I'm one of the race day officials that travel around the country officiating. My job title is fairly self-explanatory in that I'm responsible for the result and determining the order the horses cross the line. I had an opportunity to do the graduate development programme when I left university, and then an opportunity came along several years later and I was able to be fortunate enough to be offered this job. Be flexible is probably the best bit of advice, and if there's an opportunity to get some experience of any sort, take it.
No industry, however big or small, can function without administrative support, and racing is no exception. There are dozens of different roles, each vital and fulfilling in their own right, all of which need to be filled. For example, every training yard and stud farm has its own business. They need secretarial support, bookkeeping skills, or office managers, and racing provides bespoke courses to train people for these very niche roles.
I work for David Redford's Bloodstock and Qatar Racing. I organise anything that helps a racing operation run. With my role, communication is the key. Having to speak to all of those trainers, often in France and America and Australia, I would say communication is definitely the key for my role. I came into racing answering an advert in a local newspaper in Ireland, but I just took an opportunity to try it. Get into any office if you want to go down to the office side of things, and get as much experience as possible. And if you have to start at the bottom, just covering office work on a Saturday in a racing office, then just start there and work your way up.
My name's Adam Brooks and I'm racing analyst and bloodstock assistant for David Redford's Bloodstock and Qatar Racing. So what I love most about my job is getting paid to watch racing, so I'm very lucky. Putting forward horses to buy, and then sometimes they buy them and they go on to do things that you expect them to do, which is really nice. I was lucky in that I always knew what I wanted to do, but there are loads of different variations of jobs within the racing or in the horse industry. Some are hands-on, some are not hands-on. My job is largely in the office. It's writing about horses. I did English literature and media studies at A-level, but it's just a case of building your CV, volunteering to do things that might be outside your comfort zone. Once you've built up that CV, you're in a position to go to a job and say, listen, these are all the things I've done, here's an example of my work, and you'll get there eventually. And I'm in a position where I'm lucky to do my hobby, but that's because I kind of built my CV over years after leaving uni into the position I am now. So.
The media, of course, perform a vital part in the promotion of our sport. Racing TV and Sky Sports Racing, as well as the coverage on terrestrial television provided by ITV, requires a whole team behind every day of broadcasting, and not just in front of the camera either, but back in the studios and behind the scenes as well. Furthermore, as well as providing the footage for the public to watch at home, on course and in the betting shops, there is a highly skilled team providing technical support for the race day officials, such as the camera work that the stewards depend on when reviewing incidents from races, and the digital cameras that the judge uses to decide the winner. If you would like any information on any of those roles or many, many more, go to CareersinRacing.com.